Hello,
Hello
yes,
and welcome
and
to
sorry.
hello and welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. It's Gary Spain here with Gerard Brown on the watch along for Republic of Ireland v Bulgaria, which is about to kick off in the next couple of minutes. So, how are you this evening, Ger?
I'm good, Gary. I'm going to try and be as optimistic and positive as we possibly can. It's our last game of 2020, so let's try and end this year on a high. Let's finally get that win. Let's get them couple of goals. Let's avoid relegation, end the year on a high, and let's take the positives into that World Cup qualifying campaign. Good fight tonight. The 21s have won today, so that's a good start. And let's hope the seniors now kick it on.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed now, because it's badly needed, and we do definitely need a bit of positivity because there's been so much negativity around lately. But as I was said in the preview, it's over 4 months to our next game. So if we can get a positive result, it will. If we get a positive result tonight, it'll certainly be something to build on. It'll be the one that live most in the memory over the next few months.
Yeah, the last thing we want is like to be heading into that 4.5 month gap and the World Cup qualifiers next year, and still so many question marks surrounding the team and the same problems that we had heading into this international break. Heading into them, we want them goals. We want the 3 points. We want to end this campaign disappointment. I think we'll all say that this Nations League campaign has been a disappointment. While we didn't maybe expect to top the group, we certainly expect it to be challenging in the group. So we will be disappointed with that. But like I said, as you said, Gary, like if we win this game tonight, this is the one that's going to be freshest and most in people's minds when they go back to March. And it'd be great then when we head into them World Cup qualifiers, whoever they're against, that we'll be looking back saying, right, we did this right in the last game. Let's build on that, as opposed to when we still have X, Y, and Z wrong with us.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully a goal and a win. So we'll see what happens, you know.
Yeah, of course, interesting lineup tonight as well. Obviously, just come up there in front of my screen. Ryan Manning, great to see him come in for his Irish debut. Obviously, a bit of biasness with being a fellow West of Ireland man, so it's always good to see West of Shannon being represented in the green shirt. I suppose, Gary, you are classed as West of Shannon as well as a Limerick man.
Well, I suppose we're on the Shannon.
Yeah,
I'm just on the other side of the Shannon, actually. Originally, where I'm from in Corbally in Limerick, the Shannon. I'm actually only a few hundred yards from the Clare border, and but we're just, I suppose, south at that point where the Shannon estuary. We're just south of the Shannon, or but very close. And I lived in Galway for 7 years anyway, so I've a lot of fond memories of there, and delighted to see Ryan get his chance.
Yeah, it's good to see
we're
two.
all in green. We're all in green tonight as well, and the Bulgarians are all in white.
So. That's right. Yeah, they'll obviously change with the being the away kit. But just, I was saying, there's good to see two Galway men starting tonight as well. Darragh Horgan as well on the wing tonight. Hopefully, he can build on a couple of decent cameo appearances. Ronan Kirst as well getting a start tonight. We believe it's his first start in a green jersey, so obviously it's a proud moment for him. Obviously, if we're wrong, let us know in the comments, and just in general, let us know anything in the comments. How do you think tonight's game is going to go? Anything, talking points in general. Like I said, hopefully end this year on a high. The 21s have ended their year on a high, so let's hope it's a double dose for the seniors. We're just under a minute into the game. Bulgaria got in behind already, and it's blocked. And thankfully, the ricochet hasn't come to any danger. We're in a moment there early on for Gary. Bulgaria already looking a decent threat.
Yeah, that's they did look a threat in Sofia as well, although mainly in the second half. But yeah, they obviously have to win. I mean, it's win or bust for them if they want to stay up. So I don't think there's any danger of them sitting back. So hopefully it might leave some gaps for us, you know.
Yeah, I suppose even I know it's something that like other results have to dictate, but if we are concerned about it and obviously want to keep hold of our second seed, to have any chance that we need to win ourselves as well. So a win is vital for Ireland tonight, probably just as important as Bulgaria. I know we have to rely on other results and they might be unlikely, but still, like, there is a good incentive there to Ireland to win, not only just that we badly obviously need a win, as we've touched on already.
Yeah, so what we need to be second seeds in the World Cup is we need to win. We need Serbia to beat Russia, and we need Northern Ireland to beat Romania. And if those three results happen, then we'll be in the second pot for seeding for the World Cup. Any other combination of those three results, and we're in the third pot. And I know someone who checked it out in the bookies, and the odds they got on those 3 wins was 14-1. So probably not looking too good for us being in pot 2.
No, I was actually dreading you saying something longer there, because I know that them 3 sides, including ourselves, are all not in great form. They're all at home, like ourselves, Northern Ireland at home, Serbia at home. But 14-1, you'd still be surprised that there'd be a couple of people that say they will throw a few pounds on that, maybe a 5 or a 10. Hopefully they're coming away with good innings tonight, and that they can kickstart their Christmas shopping with that fortunes. Thankfully, since that early scare moment, Ireland have kind of settled down a little bit more inside the last 2 or 3 minutes. Just have a throw in here inside the Bulgarian half. Darragh Horgan was looking to take it, but I think he's left it to Ronan Manning. He's left it to his fellow Galway man. Just, of course, Gary, as everyone will know, as you have always done at these international breaks, you've gone and covered the away matches for the station. Obviously, you've been going to away matches long before I was probably even born. Didn't mean to be any harsh in saying that at all, but obviously it's weird circumstances and everything else like that. Not only just the fact there's no fans there, there's obviously none of that pre-match buzz you get, like the stadiums are empty. How have you kind of found it? And obviously it's very, very difficult going to away matches and not having the buzz of Irish fans around you, and probably in many ways, especially in places like Sofia and Bratislava, find yourself quite lonely.
Yeah, so it's been a privilege to be able to get to the games. So I'll start with that, but certainly it isn't a patch on a normal away trip. I mean, as you say, a normal away trip, we'd have thousands of fans, or even if it's one of the far-flung places, you'd still have quite a few hundred fans. You'd have a great atmosphere in the bars, the restaurants the night before, the day of the game. You'd always have fans milling around. So, yeah, and then in the stadium, there's always a fantastic atmosphere. I mean, you're saying my first away game was actually Holland 1981 in Rotterdam. So I think it was well before you were born, Ger. But yeah, I knew that. So it is very different. I mean, and in many ways, because there's no Irish fans and there's no obvious home fans either, you wouldn't even know the game is on when you're in these cities, and you're walking around the day of the game because you don't see anyone in colours, and you probably don't seem to have the same build up to the games either. Even in the media, I noticed this week, I don't feel the games got the coverage here in our media that they'd normally get. Now, maybe it's because we haven't been doing so well lately, but I feel they're low key, and they haven't been making such a big deal about them.
Yeah, I think we should also just touch on as well that Jason Knight, of course, is in for his first start as well tonight for Ireland. It's got to leave that out. Yeah, I think as you touched on the last game, I think definitely I found the September international break, there was such a buzz looking forward to that because it was the start of a new year with Stephen's first 2 games in charge. And then obviously October was one we're all really looking forward to because it was that big game against Slovakia. And I think because we lost that game and we weren't going to Euros and there was no kind of short-term plan to look forward to in terms of building for something, I just think kind of the disappointment that results, it kind of has died. I found that even the last 2 Nations League games were a little bit lower key. And I agree with you, there's just been something about this international break in general that maybe because we'd had no chance of topping the group. Like you said, the form hasn't been great. The weekend gone by was a very busy very busy weekend for sport in general. I know the rugby were playing Friday. You had Casey's fight on Saturday. You had the US Masters in golf, which of course normally wouldn't take place this weekend. And you had a bucket full of GA Championship matches as well that wouldn't normally take place this weekend. So I think it probably just got lost in them 4 or 5 other sporting occasions as well, I kind of find.
Yeah, and it's probably because we didn't do so well as well. And even the Monday papers, I mean, I had to go through quite a few pages of other sports to find the reports on the Wales game, whereas normally the day after a big international, we'd get top billing. But as you say, there's so many things on. It's probably great for the armchair viewer that they have everyone's an armchair viewer, I suppose, these days, but you have such a choice of sport to watch. I mean, if you remember back to the last lockdown, it was terrible because there was nothing to do. There was nothing on TV. Everything had stopped. Whereas now, I mean, all the top level sport is continuing, and so that's certainly great. But then everything is battling for the attention and for the fans, for the newspapers, for the TV, etc.
Yeah, I think there's no two ways about it. This, I've saying to a few mates, I don't think this even feels as much as a lockdown compared to the last one. She said, like, there was nothing to do the last one. There was nothing to watch. After 2 or 3 weeks, you got sick of watching reruns of matches. It's got to the stage. I watched so many reruns of matches during the last lockdown. I never want to watch no match again. So I do kind of feel that makes a massive difference. Like, a weekend back then didn't feel like a weekend because you had no live sport to live for. Now you still have that. You still get that adrenaline rush that you'll always get. Like, so I think that makes a huge, huge difference. And even just in terms of the coverage the last day and kind of, everything fighting for each other, I still thought, like, for someone like myself that would have a good knowledge or a good interest in a good few sports, still found it was well placed out. Like, the rugby was Friday night, Casey's fight was Saturday. The way the US Open went, Dustin Johnson just built so far ahead of steam that was wrapped up early on Sunday. And then, like, you had, obviously, our game wasn't until 5 o'clock on Sunday evening, where it wasn't really clashing with anything. Maybe the second half of the Munster hurling final, that was about it.
So yeah, maybe I should be giving more credit to the schedulers for these things, because maybe they did plan things that way. Maybe that's why the rugby was on the Friday night. I know the Nations League dates, they had been fixed a long time ago, and then of course they got moved from COVID when we had to squeeze the 3 games into the week. But yeah, they probably were, as you said. Katie's fight was later on. Yeah, it probably was well scheduled, as you say, and certainly you could, I suppose, sit down on your couch on a Friday evening and not have to move too much for the whole weekend and have plenty of live sport. So
yeah, you're going to get a bit worried when we return to normality, and the normal buzz and thrive of a Saturday and Friday night could be died out because you could get too comfortable sitting on your couch watching matches and stuff like that. So it will be interesting to see. Just even on that point as well, like for going around like the likes of Sofia and Bratislava, because a great novelty as well of these away trips is to get to go to places that you wouldn't normally dream of. Like last year I went over to Tbilisi. Like, you'd never ever think in your wildest dreams to go on summer holidays to Tbilisi. Beautiful, lovely city, so much to do. You still kind of find that there was that still kind of engagement, interaction. You could still go around and do various other parts of these different cities. I know Bratislava was in a state of emergency for that playoff game, though.
Yeah, so probably not, Gerard. I mean, Bratislava was pretty much in lockdown. Sofia was quite open, actually. I was surprised in September how open that was, because, I mean, everything was normal. I mean, now I dined outdoors. It was beautiful weather in September, but you could have dined indoors. You had everything else there. The Bratislava was pretty much locked down, very, very tight. London was total lockdown. I couldn't even get hot food in London on Thursday. The hotel had no food at all. I had to get a takeaway breakfast on Friday morning and just little snacks when I was there. And I went to Cardiff then, but Wales was actually open. So just a couple of things on the match there now. One, Kevin Long has been booked for a challenge on a Bulgarian player. It's quite early in the game. And secondly, Serbia are 1-0 up on Russia, which is good news for us.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Peter Richardson is actually suggesting a comment. Can you talk about how we're playing, and should Jack have started? It's probably a bit early to say how we're playing. I suppose we probably have most of the possession so far, but nothing really no real chances are created yet for us anyway. Should Jack have started? Yeah, I would have liked to have seen. I'm a big fan of Jack Burns, so yeah, I would have liked to have seen him start, but it's very much, it has to be Stephen's team, and he picks the team he wants. I think we will see Jack at some stage. What do you think, Ger?
Yeah, I would have definitely liked to have seen Jack start. It was great to see him come on Sunday and just finally see him play at this standard and this level and see what he's like. I can understand, I can see why he hasn't started, because it still is an important game that we need to get the win to avoid relegation. And like, obviously the fact that Jason Knight is coming in there, I think he probably would have wanted to have a couple of experience around there in midfield, so that's why he's gone with Hurahan and Brady. Maybe he's obviously just seen more from Knight in training, that's why he came on earlier than Byrne on Sunday, and why he's got the nod. But I definitely think before the night goes out with the 5 substitutions, I'd be very confident that we will see Jack Byrne. Just in terms of the game, Yeah, not much has kind of happened in the first 10 or 11 minutes. It's been played at a pretty decent pace, certainly a lot faster than it was in Sofia in the first fixture. Like I said, there was that early moment they got in behind our defence inside the first 2 or 3 minutes, but we've kind of looked solid enough at the back, and we've kind of been, unfortunately, maybe a little bit of our toothless way going forward, getting the ball, but probably just always is going to be the fear that we just lack that bit of spark up front.
Yeah, just a couple of people are asking why we can't show the game. Unfortunately, we're not allowed. We've no rights whatsoever. The game is on Sky Sports Arena, which if you've got Sky Digital, it's channel 408. I'm not sure what channel it is on Virgin, but it's one of the Sky Sports channels. Sky Sports have the rights. So unfortunately, we can't show it to you. So you'll have to, I don't know, get a Sky subscription or Now TV subscription. I don't know if it's shown anywhere else.
Yeah, unfortunately, if we showed the game, you'd never see any more of Irish football fan TV. So it's a dangerous territory. But look, if you can't find anywhere, we'll try our best to describe you through the action as it goes along, and hopefully we'll have a couple of memorable moments, a couple of goals, an Irish victory, and we'll all be a happy men come 25-10 tonight. Just Ireland here getting a little bit more of the ball and the possession. Overall, in general, Gary, you obviously touched on you would like seeing Jack start. In general, are you happy enough the team that Stephen Kenny has gone with for tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I am pretty happy with the team. I suppose time will tell if it was the right decision, but apart from Jack, probably he's the only player I would have liked to have seen in the starting 11. I think James Collins did enough off the bench to deserve his chance, and he's worth a look. And I'm delighted Ryan Manning finally gets his chance, because he's someone that's been talked about for a couple of years now. And he certainly had a great spell with QPR, and he didn't really get his chance out of that. But just a bit of danger here, but Bulgaria could be getting in, but I think it's okay. But yeah, and I'm delighted Jason Knight gets a first start. He's someone that impresses me, particularly with Derby County, and I thought he did well in Cardiff as well on Sunday. So, well, time will tell. If we get the right result, I think everyone will be saying it's a great team, and if we don't, then I think there'll be calls for quite a few people. I suppose Jack Byrne is the obvious person that people would be calling for. But maybe let us know in the comments, who else would you like to have seen starting? What do you think of the team?
Yeah, of course, the old debate will come up, the old saying, if we do win this game, don't change a winning team. So maybe we should just stick with this team going right forward through to the World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah, Joseph has a shout, Sean McLaughlin of Hull. So I know Hull are doing very well actually this season. I don't know how Sean McLaughlin is doing. I know he's the former Cork City player. He was certainly highly rated there. See anybody else? See, has anybody else got any comments? And okay, Josh Cullen, I suppose, is somebody else that I would like to have had a look at.
Yeah, because I think the issue probably what was coming back to bite Josh in terms of team selection at the start was obviously his limited game time with West Ham, and he was only restricted to cup games. But he's got that move away from the London club, and he's now playing regular football out in Belgium with Anderlecht. And I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't seen a bit more game time, because I still think that's a relatively decent standard to be playing at. Like, you look at right throughout the Champions League, Europa League, there's always Belgian teams in it, so it's a decent standard. He is someone I would have liked to have seen a bit more of. And like, at the end of the day, these are players that you touched on, like Ryan Manning. They've always kind of shown potential and promise at club level. It's only in these situations then where you throw them in as a start in a competitive game that we kind of get to see what they're like. Oh, was that good chance just there for Ireland? It's gone out for a corner. Just James Collins just couldn't quite get on the end.
But couldn't get on. It was Ronan Curtis got in, I think, on the right hand side, and a deflected cross, and just it was an open goal for James Collins. We just couldn't get on the end.
Curtis done very well because it was good pressurising, because the Bulgarians were in possession And yeah, Collins in the end, unfortunately, didn't make any contact with the ball and ends up clattering into the post instead. But this will be a good chance now. I was going to say Robbie Brady, but he seems to have gone very short to Darrell Horgan, who's put way too much on that cross, Gary, really, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's just he overhit the cross, disappointing.
And the wait still goes on. So yeah, Sunday it broke all the records for all the wrong reasons, Gary. 6 games without a goal. It's the longest we've ever gone without a goal. Obviously, the last time that happened was towards the tail end of Jack's days in the first couple of games under Mick. Obviously, because we aren't getting results, we aren't winning matches as well, it scrutinises and puts pressure on a new manager. Was it something similar for Mick McCarthy back then as well?
So yeah, I suppose in the early days, Mick kind of got a pass because we had some players at the end of Jack's era. It kind of felt like the end of an era as well, and players were going to be moving on. But I suppose actually Mick got a lot of criticism in his first couple of campaigns. I know he persisted in playing Ian Hart as a central defender, and now Ian Hart was a fine left back and particularly very good going forward and a lovely left foot. But I think he didn't have a great time with it as a centre half, and I know that frustrated a lot of fans. And so the first campaign under Mick, we had quite a few, I suppose, disappointing results. We lost to Macedonia, the infamous orange shorts, and no, we had a very weak group because we were actually top seeds because we'd done so well in previous campaigns. We'd Romania as second seeds and pretty much a very weak group after that, the likes of Iceland, Macedonia, Lithuania, and we kind of fell into second place and lost to Belgium in the playoffs. But Mick obviously grew into the job, and really we should have qualified for Euro 2000. And then, of course, did qualify for the World Cup in 2002. So maybe, hopefully, things will go the same way for Stephen, that getting a bit of flack at the start and maybe things not going so well, but hopefully, things will settle down. Another key thing in Mick's reign actually was when we missed out on qualifying for the World Cup in France in '98. We played a friendly against the Czech Republic in, I think it's pronounced Olomouc, or anyway, it's I think it's is it the third or fourth city in the Czech Republic, and we played a friendly there, and it was the likes of Damien Duff, Shay Given, Robbie Keane, all made their debut there. So a lot of superstars for the future. Just looking there, a yellow card for Ryan Manning for a late challenge. It's not too good to have a couple of players on yellow cards already with only 21 minutes gone.
Yeah, that's 2 players already. Again, I seem to be a couple of seconds behind you, Gary, because I've just seen Manning's challenge there. It was a very, very reckless, heavy challenge. You could make a case he's possibly a bit lucky not to have seen red. Like, you can see the Bulgarian players were up in arms straight away, and the Bulgarian player they made contact with isn't down in pain. It did look a bad tackle from first view, and whether we get to see the second angle on it now or not, I'm not too sure.
And it did. It looked too funny. I think we're lucky there's no VAR.
I think we're very lucky that's not red card, to be honest.
Yeah.
He lunges in, doesn't get the ball, catches her man. And again, in an area where we're just inside our own half, like, they're not in any serious danger. All you should be doing is just stand your ground, keep firm, and then just keep track of the run if he makes a run after giving the pass. But I suppose you just put it down to maybe a rush of blood for a young lad making his international debut.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on the other scores. It's still 1-0 to Serbia. It's still 0-0 in Belfast.
Yeah, so obviously we'll keep an eye on them throughout the course. Now, obviously the main concern really is, let's just get the 3 points for us tonight. Let's end this year on a high and something to build on. And results go away, happy days. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people out there that would have be cashing in the money then if them results happen with that 14-1. You weren't tempted to put it on yourself, Gary, were you?
No, that's all
your Christmas present shopping money sorted.
Yeah, no, I'm not a betting man at all. I've an interest maybe in the odds, but I tend to. I don't know any poor bookies, so that's why I tend to keep my my money in my pocket. So.
Yeah, definitely. If you put a 5 or a 10 on that, and you end up getting winnings, the time of year we're coming into, it would go very, very well. Because Ireland again playing more out of the back. We won a free kick just there, and Darren Randolph. Oh, Shane Duffy's just giving the ball away, and it thankfully
lucky escape there.
Kevin Long, I think it was, that got the block in.
Kieran,
last thing you really want to see is a key player like that for us. Shane Duffy obviously is going through confidence problems at the moment, just giving away the ball so sloppy like that.
Yeah. Kieran Orr reckons that Manning is a very lucky boy. Yeah, I think I agree with him, you know. So
I think it was definitely one of those. If it was a Bulgarian player or one of our players, we'd be up in arms looking for a red card.
Yeah. Maybe lucky as well, it's so early in the game. I know it shouldn't matter, and the laws of the game are the same, but I think referees are much slower to give a red card, a straight red in the first 20 minutes, half an hour, even in the first half of games. I'd love to see the stats on that. I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. But I think if that was in the last 10 or 15 minutes, you're much more likely to get a red.
Yeah, when the game enters into its melting pot and every decision is so crucial. But I suppose if Bulgaria don't go on to win this game, they'll definitely look back at that as being a key moment and a kind of game-turning moment where they would have felt they were in a strong position to kick on if they had the extra man. Just even from yourself, obviously, from being at the games over the last couple of months, you kind of find maybe even from just kind of an point of view, trying to take in the game, obviously, because you'll be doing your match report afterwards and your 3 talking points, that like, as much as we love having the crowd and the fans noise, but you kind of find with just without having that presence that you're a little bit more zoned in, a little bit more focused and concentrating the game, and you can kind of maybe take in a little bit more from a media and journalist role as opposed to a fan.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I suppose you have to focus on the game and what's on the pitch, and certainly you can hear. Obviously, if you're a normal international, you really can't hear what the managers are saying or what the players are saying on the pitch. So, at an international, as you know, Gerard, even from any kind of a game now, with these games behind closed doors, you can hear a lot more of what's going on.
Yes,
and that can be good and bad, really. So it is a different perspective, and it's nice from that. But to be honest, I'd much rather be in a stadium with fans. I don't think it's the same, you know.
No, 100%. Even from the League of Ireland games, I've tended, as you said, like the good and the bad. The good, obviously, is getting to hear like the tactical stuff the managers will be coming out with and what they're shouting and roaring at the players and stuff like that. It's kind of a great, brilliant insight. It's almost like a free education to football. The bad side of things are things that you can't repeat on this channel with the content and language and stuff that does be shouted towards referees and various players. But kind of sometimes subs and people like myself, we do get a bit of a laugh out of it, but sometimes it's best that it doesn't be repeated as well all the same. But yeah, like, I still think like at the end of the day, as I was just saying, it's Paul the other day, like the first game of League of Ireland game I went to, Pats versus Finn Harps, there was a buzz around that because I think you were just delighted and grateful to be back at a football match. But after that novelty wears off and you do miss not being surrounded by a lot more people and that kind of energy that you can get from a good buzz and a good crowd at a match. So we're about 25 minutes away through the first half. It's kind of nearly flown by this first half. There hasn't really been much to report. We've only had one kind of half chance, Kirsty's cross. We've just given the ball away again, though, as I said, and Bulgaria once again in a dangerous position here. And thankfully the shot was not the strongest, and Darren Randolph at the second attempt got us the ball away. But that's a couple of times now, Gary, we've cheaply given the ball away in our own half.
It's very sloppy there by Robbie, and it's been the experienced players. I think it was Shane Duffy the first time with Robbie Brady there. I mean, it's we need to be more careful. You know, that was just played across midfield without looking what was happening. You know, so yeah, we don't want to. Well, we don't want to give away a sloppy goal. Peter M is asking something that's close to my heart, so I'm going to bring this one up. He says, are Treaty United going to get a license for the first division? So, as people may not know, that's hopefully the new team in Limerick. They're already in the Women's League and they've applied for a license to. It's the first year, 2020. We haven't had a men's Senior League of Ireland side in Limerick, and Treaty have applied to come in next season. So, hopefully they will get a license. I think I think they will. I think there's a lot of good people in Limerick, a lot of well-respected people. Con Murray, the former city manager, will be well known in the city and very, very well respected. And a lot of business people. He's surrounded himself with a lot of business people. So I think they will get a license. I think the FAI are obviously going to be focused on having a team in the league in Limerick. And so hopefully there's a bad challenge by a Bulgarian there, actually, the number 6. I'm not sure who he is. And it's a yellow card for him. So, but hopefully we'll have a team back in Limerick in 2021. Actually, just to shout about this referee, he has a bit of a history. I think it's one of his early senior internationals, but he's done a couple of our underage games before, and he's a habit of dishing out quite a lot of yellow cards and red cards, and he's already got 3 in this game, 2 for us and 1 for Bulgaria there. Now, in fairness to him, I don't think we can. Well, I don't think we can argue about the cards, or possibly say one of the yellows could have been a red. But anyway,
yeah, you were saying there he's quick to dish out the red card. Thankfully, he wasn't quick to dish it out there a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, just in terms of the Treaty United, obviously I think it'd be great because Limerick have obviously said they've had such a strong tradition and history in the League of Ireland football. And it's not that awfully long ago. I think 2018 they were in the Premier Division, so it's be great to have them back. It's great, obviously, to have another regional club to keep the kind of connection and a club going outside of Dublin for people to get behind. Obviously, with Limerick, as you touched on there, it's very close as well to the Clare and Limerick border. Obviously, they've had strong sport base as well in North Tip and stuff like that. So it'd be great for them to get behind and have a team to follow again, close to their own home in their own area. So it'd be fantastic and it'd be brilliant to see. And as good servants as Shamrock Rovers too were to the First Division this year, and as great benefit was, it'd be nice to have back to 24 clubs in the Premier Division or in the League of Ireland as opposed to 19.
Yeah, I don't think it looks good to have reserve teams in the second tier. It's much better to have clubs from an area. And just another comment from Peter there: a shocking name and terrible kit. Yeah, unfortunately, the Treaty United initially set up as I don't want to get into too much of this because I know there's been legal challenges and everything, and I don't want to get myself or the channel into trouble either. All right, but unfortunately, Treaty United had to change their name. They originally tried to use Limerick United, but the name was already registered, and I think they thought it was safer not to use Limerick in the name. But I think they are looking at coming in with Limerick in the name. The kit, so as people probably know, Limerick football traditionally has been wearing blue shirts. And again, I think it's probably for legal reasons that they decided not to wear blue when they changed the name. Now, the original colours when Limerick entered senior football in 1937 were these cardinal red and white stripes. And in 1943, we actually changed to blue shirts and played in blue. Well, I would say pretty much ever since, but there was a period under Pat Grace where we played in yellow and green, kind of Norwich City style colours. But another thing actually on the colours, the legend, which I've never been able to verify, but it was something I was told as a young boy on the popular side in the Markets Field, is that Waterford actually went out of football in 1941. They actually came back in 45. And the legend is that Limerick bought their blue shirts, and that's why we switched to blue. And something I've never been able to verify, but I've never heard another story or another reason why we switched to blue. Oh, danger here. Oh, I think it's okay. Yeah. Bulgarian number 18 nearly got in there.
I'm still at the stage where I just seen Robbie Brady's free kick ripped in, and unfortunately Shane Duffy just wasn't able to get on the end of it. I think he actually did get on it, but obviously, yeah, he did. But obviously his header was nowhere near the goal and was really stretching for us. So he probably done well to get anything on it. Yeah, that Limerick story will be really testing my history now, unfortunately, Gary. If I was able to come up with a solution as to how Limerick really changed their jerseys to blue. Maybe a couple of bitter Waterford fans might be able to get in and let us know about that one. But as I said, just in general, it would be fantastic to have them back in the league. And as you said, another regional club as well, and strong traditions there as well. Of course, you've obviously been living in Dublin for a number of years now at this stage. prior to obviously not having a team in the league this year, would you still manage to get back down to the Markets Fields for many games, or were you reliant on mainly when they play games up in the eastern half of the country?
Oh no, I used to still go down. I mean, I would have travelled to most games, even though I haven't actually lived in Limerick since I was 18. Now, look, my father is still there; it's still my hometown. But
You haven't lost the accent.
well, okay. But I went to college in Cork. Then I lived in Galway for 7 years, and I'm in Dublin now since 1926 years in Dublin, since 1994. But I still travel back. I suppose the football team is my link to the city as well, and I still travel back, and I get to most of the games. I don't get to all the games anymore, but I certainly get to 80-90% of the games, home and away. So they're my team, and hopefully we'll have a club in the city next season. Just one from Kieran there. Opinions on Galway's season last year, the introduction of Caulfield. Yeah, well, I don't think you can argue with what the job John Caulfield has done. I mean, Galway were really struggling. He came in, total transformation in the club. Fantastic run, did incredibly well to get into the playoffs. That win in Bray to make the playoffs, it cost Bray promotion as well, automatic promotion. And then to go to Bray a week later, and I was actually at that game in the Carlisle grounds, and it was a fantastic win for Galway. A great game in Bray, a very even game. It could have gone either way, but Galway just about shaded it. And I was actually surprised. Look, and hats off to Longford. Absolutely hats off to Longford. But I was actually surprised Longford beat them. I really fancied Galway to beat Longford. And but I think Galway will be very strong. John Caulfield will obviously be staying. He'll have pre-season and everything. And they could well be, they'll certainly be there or thereabouts next season. It could well be the team to beat.
Yeah, they've been talked up for the last couple of years since they were relegated from the Premier Division 3 years ago, and it hasn't happened for a couple of reasons. And it looked like again this season was going to follow the same pattern, but the appointment of John Caulfield midway through the season really has galvanised them, it's changed them. You know, you could even see straight away one of his first games in charge while they got well beaten by Shelburne in the Cup, but the fact that they scored 2 goals against a Premier Division team, I think will give them the belief that they can do that against a Premier Division team. What can they do against First Division opposition? And I said, like, the way the end of the season was very, very strong. Bit of a good fortune as well, because we touched on there, you want to get into legal things with Limerick and their name. We won't go down the route with Wexford's story with the players and stuff like that, but that benefited Galway anyway, we'll put it that way. And as you said, that great win against Bray in the playoffs, and same as yourself, I just thought that they were a team coming in with serious momentum into the playoffs, where someone like Longford would have been looking to get up outright. And they didn't have the strongest end to the season. Like, I remember they drew their last game against Wexford, so you would have felt that they were in the better place. But credit to Longford, they got that win against Galway and then went on to beat Shelburne. But yeah, with Galway, you would find some next year. It's going to be a super competitive First Division next year with Shelburne back down, Cork down. Bray will obviously feel hard done by because they were so close to automatic promotion, and then you have Galway missed out on the playoffs. There's 4 teams straight away that would all feel that they, on any given day, they easily could have been playing Premier Division football next year. So it's going to be so super tight. And that's what even without mentioning like Cove and UCD, who also had very respectful seasons just gone by. And Athlone are in the cup semi-finals, so they can reproduce their cup form into the league. Who knows? We could be looking at a bumper First Division next year.
Yeah, I don't know about Athlone, Gerard. I think you're being a bit optimistic there.
Keep the faith, Gary. Keep the faith.
They have done.
You'll be going abroad covering games at Athlone Town in the Europa League next year.
I think I'll definitely eat my hat if that happens. But
I'm gonna hold just that one. Now.
You can hold me to that one. I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't give them any chance against Dundalk or Bohs. But you never know, I suppose, in the cup.
Yeah.
But Athlone have done incredibly well, and it was a fantastic cup win over Shelburne. But
good chance there, Ferdinand.
Yeah. The keeper had to go full length for that, even though it seemed to spin through. You know.
We're getting closer, Gary. We're getting closer.
Yeah. So just a comment there from Daniel Keegan. Do you think we're setting our expectations too high for the national team? I don't, Daniel, to be honest. I think we should be... Well, I'll tell you where I think we are. I mean, I don't think we're anywhere near the top 10, 15 countries in Europe. I think there will be times, like in the late 80s, early 90s, when we get a really good squad of players that we can be in the top 10 in UEFA. But normally, I think we should be somewhere around the 15 to 25 mark. And that's where I think we should be with the players we have and playing in the quite a few players playing in England in the Premier League and everything. And well done by Daryl Horgan there, but the header is just over. So that's where I think we should be, and I don't think we're there at the moment. And now I think maybe we have to go backwards a little bit to go forwards. So possibly that is the case, but that's where I think we should be. And what I mean by that is, with a 24 team Euros, I think we should be qualifying, or at least coming very, very close to qualifying every time. And maybe I think getting to World Cups is going to get very difficult. I mean, there's only 13 places for UEFA at the moment. And I think it's going to be very, very difficult to reach Qatar. Whatever the draw throws up, I think winning our group would be, at this stage, highly unrealistic. I mean, at the moment, there's a very good chance we're going to get a Spain, a Belgium, a Germany. And I know Germany lost 6-0 last night, but unfortunately, I still don't think we'd beat that German side. But if we get a Spain, Belgium, even England, they'll probably just be too good for us. And there's only one automatic spot. So then you're looking for the runners-up spot for the playoffs. But even if you do well and you get into that, there's 12 teams in the playoffs for 3 spots. And it's going to be very difficult for us to win 2 playoff matches. That will be in March 2022 to qualify for a World Cup. So my expectations, I think, for a good World Cup would be to make the playoffs and hopefully be a bit better and have a shot at them. But I think there's a good chance we'd come short. But I would expect that we would have to qualify 24. That would be my target anyway.
Yeah, I think like the thing I always expect from an Irish team is we're always at least competitive in the group. We're always going to be at least in the shake-up for a playoff. I think only the odd exception of the Euro 2008 qualifiers and the 2014 World Cup qualifiers, where we were a long way off the pace. But other than that, you always expect us there to be in the shake-up. Just Gerard Horgan looks as if he's not in the best of shape at the moment, as if he's, is he a bit dizzy or is he concussed or something?
Okay, I'm not sure now.
It kind of seems he's running along. He kind of had one of his eyes kind of squinted. It's like maybe something was in his eyes or lost a bit of vision or something. But he just kind of went down to the ground. I don't know, is he a bit dizzy? Did he take a bang to the head or something else like that? But Stephen Kenny, just showing a replay here now. So, so far it doesn't seem to be much in it. Your man just kind of just swings his arm across him a bit like that. But that's kind of about it. But just on that, I agree with you. I think when I heard that the European Championships were being extended to 24 teams, and under the old format before they brought in the Nations League, top 2 qualified automatically and third got a playoff. I always think we should definitely at least be in the playoff for that. I know obviously now it's changed a bit with the introduction of the Nations League, and as you touched on, qualifying for the World Cup is going to be so difficult because similar again to you're always going to have to go through 2 sets of playoff rounds to get there. So it is going to be tricky, it is going to be hard, but as you said, you'd always think Ireland should be within that 15 to 25 team range in Europe. I'd like to think we should be around that, if not maybe in around the 20 mark zone. So it's very disappointing that we're not going to the European Championships next summer. I agree with you. I think the World Cup will be too soon for this group of players. But I think if all the young players, a lot of that 121 team that Stephen Kearney inherited, really kick on and progress, for me, Euro 2024 is a really realistic possibility. And also, I just really want to go to a major tournament in Germany. It's a lot more accessible than going to a major tournament in Qatar.
Yeah, no, I mean, Germany would be fantastic hosts, and it'd be a great one to qualify. I mean, I'm really, really disappointed we're not able to play at home next June in a major finals, because that would have been superb. But Germany in 2024 would be a good consolation. Matt reckons, should we give a chance to Anthony Scully and Conor Coventry? I haven't seen enough of Anthony Scully, to be honest, to give a comment. Conor Coventry's a player I really like. He plays, probably hasn't got too much of a chance at West Ham yet, but he plays in that holding role in front of the back four, and certainly potentially one for the future. He is being talked about, actually, if Declan Rice leaves West Ham, as being the future for them in that position. So might be no harm to see him move on. I don't want to talk about him anyway. But I know somebody was asking, I don't want to lose the comment.
Might be no harm to tie him down then with a senior cap, just in case, well, given West Ham's previous history with players that have dual nationality.
Yeah.
But he's a player as well. I very much like that Sweden game last year in Tala. This time last year, I thought he was absolutely excellent, especially in that second half when Jason Malumbi had to go off. I thought he really stepped up and drove us on in midfield. Anthony Scully is a player I've seen bits and flashes of him. He's having a pretty good season with Lincoln in League One at the moment. He's chipped in with a couple of goals. Lincoln played Liverpool in the League Cup there back in September, and I watched that game. And he caused Liverpool a couple of problems on a night when they were well beaten, Lincoln 7-2. Like, so he definitely looks like someone who's a good prospect. He again is another player that's come from West Ham. He was very, very strong with them at underage level, winning the under-23 Player of the Month for the Premier League in October of last year. I was quite a bit surprised he mightn't have been given his chance with West Ham at senior level. But hopefully there are two players that can kick on. Even look at the likes of Jack Taylor, who's just been called up from the under-21s. He's having a very good season with Peterborough, who are flying at the top of League One.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
He's come on a long way. This time last year, he was playing non-league football, and he's now on a team that's on although it's early days, but on the cusp of possibly being in contention for the shake-up going up to the Championship.
Yeah, I just see it's 3-0 Serbia now, so I think that result is certainly going our way. But we need a goal.
So we just need our good friends up north to do us a favour.
And we need to
let's show we're United Ireland side, and that's all. Do ourselves one big favour.
Well, we need to help ourselves and win as well. Shane is asking what I think of Danny Mandrew. I think Danny's a fantastic player going forward. I think he needs to work very much on the defensive side of his game. And I think in some ways I know he's had some injury issues this season, but he probably hasn't been as influential in Bows in the season, well, the current 2020 season, as he had been. But still a young player and bags of talent, so definitely potentially one for the future.
Yeah, it's an interesting one on Danny there, because last year, like, you would have been looking at the Bulls team, and he probably would have been the first name on the team sheet because he was just so exciting to watch him scoring loads of goals. I just mentioned, like, maybe a little bit of indiscipline issues here or there. Now you look at it, and you're almost only scratching your head, as you said, like, Bulls had such a good season. He obviously didn't feature that much, but you kind of wonder, where does he get into that Bulls team? Because you look at that front three at the end of the season of Danny Grant, Andre Wright, and Promise O'Share. They get on so well and click so well, and they have a very, very good understanding and look very, very dangerous. And you just wonder that could someone like Danny Mandrew come in and kind of disrupt that a small little bit. We've just reached half time. It's 0-0. It's, again, obviously the fact that it's 0-0, it's disappointing we haven't scored, but it's not been a bad half. I think overall the tempo and pace has actually been fairly decent. We've had a couple of sighters. The only concern is that we've kept the ball away sloppy a couple of times. And the worrying thing is that we've given away our pin across our own goals instantly. The Bulgarians are straight down on the attack on us. But look, let's hope, Gary, it's the last 45 minutes of football ahead for us for the year. Let's hope finally it produces the brightest spark of the year.
Hopefully we can finish with a win. We probably haven't opened up Bulgaria enough, which so far, but yeah, at least we're not behind either. But hopefully we'll get the goal. Aidan's asking, who do we think should replace Darren Randolph in the future? Now, hopefully that's a few years away yet. I think goalkeepers do go on for quite a while, and I think we're going to have Darren around for a few years. Well, we've Caoimhín Kelleher, who many people have high hopes for. I mean, he's still in the books of Liverpool, and a fine young keeper. Mark Travers has got some Premier League experience, and they're the two people next in line. But actually, the player I think, the one I've been watching and really impressed with is Gavin Bazunu. I think he's doing really well at Rochdale. I saw him for the underage teams, even at under 17, and he looks really, really good. He stepped up to the under 21s, and he's playing first team football with Rochdale, and he's doing really well there. And I think he potentially is one for the future, and still a very young man, but a very cool head. I've told the story on here before, but maybe I'll tell it again about. I think he was 16 playing for Shamrock Rovers and getting the bus down to Cork, and he was sitting on his own on the bus on his phone, and one of the management team actually was a bit concerned about a young 16-year-old on his own on the bus. He went over and sat beside him and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "So I've just been watching the last 5 penalties that Kieran Sadler has taken." And of course, in that game against Cork City, he saved a penalty from Kieran Sadler that helped. The game finished in a scoreless draw. He kept a clean sheet as well. So there's he's the person I have high hopes for. I don't know, Gerard, who do you think could be in goal for us in the future?
It's a very impressive story. It shows he's got a wide head and young shoulders at 16 years of age. Very impressive. He's doing really well at Rochester. It's great for him to get out and get experience first team football. Where you look at maybe the likes of Creevy and Kelleher and Mark Travers, who are that bit more older than him. They're not playing that much football at the moment. I do think as well with his situation at Rochester, it's an ideal one for him because there's a strong Irish core there. When you consider that Owen O'Connell is the captain, Paul McShane is there, Jimmy Cuhan, and of course Brian Barry Murphy is the manager. So I think that definitely helps his situation. Another person as well I wouldn't quite rule out, because you touched on goalkeepers having long longevity. So Kieran O'Hara probably seems to be following a similar kind of profile as well to Darren Randolph. He had to buy his time down the lower leagues. He's re-established himself at Burton Albion over the last couple of years. Obviously, came through with Manchester United, was on the bench for them a couple of times a year. They won the Europa League under Mourinho. I think he is someone that at the moment for me is probably if Darren was suddenly to announce a random retirement, which as you said, I hope that's a long way away. But he's probably the one at the most experienced in the strongest position because of his more regular first team football. Mark Travers obviously started the season with Bournemouth, but I think he had a couple of disappointing games, so he's lost out to Begovic. And Creevy Kelleher was meant to get that loan move from Liverpool only for Alison Becker's injury just before the October international break. So we have got goalkeepers at strong clubs at the moment, so that's encouraging. But I would say maybe Kieran O'Hara at the moment, if anything would ever happen to Darren Randolph, he'd be the one I'd have the most faith in. But Gavin Bazunu, only 18 years of age, so he's still got bucket loads. As you mentioned with goalkeepers, like he's got bucket loads of time ahead of him. Yeah,
Shane Cotter is a big fan of Caoimhín Kelleher anyway, because I can see by the Liverpool crest, maybe he's obviously a Liverpool fan as well. But
probably a Cork man as well too, just to put the cherry on the cake.
Oh, okay. But he's nailed his colours to the mast anyway, and Caoimhín Kelleher, I hope so. I mean, he's a very talented keeper, and as you say, Gerard, I'd love to have seen him go out on loan and start down the leagues in England and just play men's first team football, because I think that's important, and give them the chance to develop. I see it's 4-0 Serbia now at half time, so I think we can take that result as being done and dusted. But still 0-0 here.
Unless Russia produce a mad comeback. Just even on Caoimhín Kelleher, Alan Kelly was saying that as well. He was actually very impressed with the standard of him in training and stuff like that. I suppose even though he's not playing first team football, if you're in training every day with arguably the best goalkeeper in the Premier League and arguably one of the best goalkeepers in the world, you're going to learn so much from that, particularly at a young age as well. So even while he's not playing football, just to be there training every day and seeing what Alison Becker is doing and taking pointers from that yourself is obviously going to stand him a huge benefit too.
Yeah, no, look, it's great for him to be there and learning off one of the best keepers in the world. But I think you can't beat actually playing the game and getting first team men's football experience. I think it would bring him on hugely. And I'll say that in general about a lot of our younger players, that they either need to be getting game time at their clubs or else go out on loan. I mean, Jay Malumbi is someone I'm concerned about not getting a look in at Brighton. Yeah. I mean, he did so well last year at Millwall. So he's someone I'd like to see at least the bench and maybe come off the bench a bit at Brighton. If not, hopefully go out on loan in January.
He's too good of a player, really, not to be playing football, Gary. Like,
yeah, oh yeah, because he's really impressed. I mean, he's missed tonight with his suspension, but I mean, it's he's looked really to the manner born in our side, and probably has nearly become an automatic starter for competitive games already.
Yeah, you'd have to say him and Darragh O'Shea have probably been the two bright sparks and two positives to take away from this campaign.
Yeah, Darragh O'Shea is someone, and his versatility is fantastic. But again, someone who came in, did so well in the last window, and well, he can play right back, left back, and centre back now, which is a great option to have. Yeah.
Too early to say, but could he be the next Steve Staunton or Dennis Irwin, his versatility?
Well, okay.
Very, very, very early to go saying that. Yeah. I will admit to that now.
Well, of course, Steve Staunton played left back. He played left side of midfield and then moved and became, for the 2002 World Cup, played in central defence. And the only Irishman to play 3 World Cups. And unfortunately, that record is not going to be lost anytime soon. And I don't know.
It doesn't look like it, unfortunately. Of course, Niall Quinn would have equalled that record, only for he was injured, wasn't he, for 94?
He was injured for 94, and he did play in 3 major. Niall Quinn did play in 3 major finals, because Niall Quinn played in Euro 88, whereas Stan was just too young for Euro 88.
Yeah, Robbie Keane would have also played in 3 major tournaments as well.
So, yes, of course, yeah.
He'd be the only. They're the only 3 that would have played in 3. Well, no, obviously, the majority of Jack's team would have all played in 3 major tournaments.
A lot would have played in 88, 1994, yeah.
But I suppose Robbie Keane is probably the most modern footballer that we would have produced, that would have had the luxury to play in 3 major tournaments. Shay Given, maybe, if he had managed to get run out in Europe.
Yeah, well, he went to he still went to 2016, but he didn't play. Yeah.
No. Just of course, yeah.
So I was just going to make one more point. Sorry, I'm going a little bit off topic, but the Serbia.
It's half time, Gary. This is the time to do it.
Okay, we can shoot the breeze. Exactly. Serbia beating Russia. Obviously, I hope that we can get the win and make pot 2. I suppose one positive, if we don't make pot 2, if Romania actually, they only need a draw to jump ahead of Russia. And certainly, if we don't make pot 2, I'd much rather have Russia in our pot, which means we can't meet them or draw them, than Romania. I wouldn't mind actually getting Romania out of pot 2 at all if we didn't make it, or someone like Slovakia. But hopefully we will make pot 2. But I'd certainly much rather take Russia out of the equation. Moscow's a desperately difficult place to go and get a result. And to have Russia as a second seed with possibly a Belgium, a Spain, an England, a Germany, a Holland as your top seed, it would be very, very difficult to even make a playoff.
Yeah, if we get Russia, we probably have to bring Richard Dunn out of retirement for that game in Moscow.
Oh,
there's parts from probably still in the city, I'd say.
Yeah, that was some performance. I mean, up there with one of the great single player all time performances in a green shirt.
Probably collectively one of the worst Irish performances ever, but as you just said, individually, because like he himself, and in fairness to Shay Given, he made a couple of very good saves that night when they did manage to get past Dunn. Like how we scraped the draw that time in Moscow, I don't think we'll ever know. And if Russia didn't qualify for Euro 2012, they definitely look back in that game as the one they left 2 points behind them.
Yeah. So, well, they obviously did end up and qualify with ease, but a crucial game that people forget that night, actually. Armenia did us a massive favour, because even with the point in Moscow, it wasn't still looking too good. And then, because we'd only drawn 0-0 with Slovakia in Dublin the few days before the game in Moscow, but Armenia went to, I think it was in Bratislava, they certainly went to Slovakia anyway, and they beat the home side 4-0, which put us in the driving position then for for the runners-up spot, as it turned out to be, because Russia still had enough to go on and win the group. But
I think
it was that night was crucial.
Armenia done the double over Slovakia in that group. When you look back to it, at the time, we would have probably thought it was a routine victory. But to go over there in the first game and Keith Fahey's goal lay on, like that 3 points, so important really in a group where Armenia really ends up being a massive surprise package. And they actually came to Aviva in that last game with aspirations of winning and making the playoffs themselves.
Yeah, that win in Slovakia actually set them up if they won in Dublin for them to make the playoffs. And they probably feel they were actually very unlucky. They probably feel they were hard. I know they do feel actually they were hard done by refereeing decisions. And actually, you mentioned the game in Yerevan and Keith Fahey's late winner. We were absolutely blessed to win that game. It was 0-0, and Henrik Mkhitaryan, it was the first time he came to my attention anyway, and he was head and shoulders above anyone else in the pitch. He ran the game. He was absolutely superb. But for poor finishing, that he set up so many chances in that second half. And thankfully, with about 10 minutes to go, we broke away, and Keith Fahey got a chance, and he took it for the only goal. But we were absolutely blessed to win that game. And that set up, it was one of the crucial wins that set up qualification, because we drew twice with Slovakia. We lost at home to Russia, took a point from Moscow. But it was the wins against Armenia and Andorra. Well, that also else. I think everyone obviously beat
Macedonia as well.
Well, Macedonia, that's who I was forgetting. Yeah, because we went to Macedonia, a couple of Robbie Keane goals, and
he broke the record that night, didn't he?
Was that when he?
But he broke the record for the, let's say, British and Irish all-time leading goal scorers. Like,
oh, that's what it was. Yeah, sorry, he got his 50th goal or something, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a unique record, really, as such, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, he's the leading international goal scorer in these islands.
Yeah, but just even go back to, like, in terms of being seeded and all that, like, it's amazing though. Like, you look down through the years. I wouldn't maybe go back now as far as Jack's time, but more recent years, you talk about, like, the importance of being top 2 seeds. But we've always kind of predominantly been third seeds down through the years, and we've always been, thereabouts. Like Trapp's first campaign, we were third seeds. The last World Cup campaign, we were fourth seeds, and we were only 4 seeds to make the playoffs. We always kind of seem to define the odds in those ways. And then you think back to times when we were top seeds, the rarity back in Mick McCarthy's first campaign, we didn't make it count to our advantage. Yeah,
I suppose. I mean, we touched on that earlier on, but I think it was a case of the kind of players reaching, either retiring or reaching the end of the road in those days, But yeah, we didn't take advantage. We actually got a very handy group for Mick's first, as I said already, Mick's first campaign. We really should have done better in the qualification for France. And that was the only World Cup we missed out of the 4. I mean, we qualified for 1994 and 2002, and missed out in 98 on the playoffs.
Probably the best World Cup of that decade as well.
So, yeah, and it's always a bit of a sickener to miss out when they're so close as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially anytime you get a European World Cup, you really kind of want to be there. Like, it's mad when you look back at the way the World Cups fell that decade. It was one of the decades where you get 3 World Cups. I remember during the lockdown, Johnny Ward and Dan McDonald were on off the ball doing their World Cup revisits on Saturdays. And in many ways, in Irish eyes, it'd be Italia 90, USA 94, and France 98, the 3 remember World Cups. But in reality, in terms of quality, it really was France 98, USA 94, and Italia 93rd.
Yeah, I think in some ways, now I know I'm very biased, Italia 90 was my first World Cup. It was Ireland's first World Cup. I think it gets a bad rep. They were actually, and maybe we're part of the reason it gets such a bad rep, because we were involved in some awful matches. But it's the only World Cup I spent the whole month at it, actually, and it was absolutely amazing. But there were some absolutely fantastic matches there. I'm thinking England-Cameroon in the quarter-final, a 3-2 win for England. The Cameroons came so close to beating them. And both semi-finals were epic games. I mean, 2-1 all draws, but both went to penalties. I mean, Maradona in Naples against Italy, an absolutely epic game. England-West Germany, again, that went to penalties in Turin. I was at a game, Spain-Yugoslavia, an absolute cracking match. Yugoslavia beat Spain 2-1. And brilliant end-to-end stuff. What are other words? Brazil-Argentina. Maradona was absolutely superb, fantastic pass for Canigia and put Brazil out. A really fancied Brazil team. So probably the final was an awful final. Our game against England, our game against Egypt, probably. Even the Romania game was pretty poor, 120 minutes. But so I think maybe Italian 90 gets a bit of a bad rep. I don't know, maybe there's not too many watching us who remember Italian 90. So let us know your thoughts in the comments if you're, well, someone like me who's been around and we're still alive. God, I hate to think how long ago it is now, 30 years, you know. So.
I'll tell you something though, we produced a fantastic jersey back then though. I absolutely love wearing this. And even just looking at the camera, just the chic off it as well from the light.
Yeah.
It's any wonder that we've replicated our current jerseys off them. Absolutely fantastic. But the second half has started here. It's 2 minutes old. We had again a half chance probably at best to go cross in from Darragh O'Shea. Collins got his head on it now. It was nowhere near the direction of goal, but it's nice to know that we've had a chance. Collins is someone the last couple of games who I kind of would have probably wrote off at international level after his performances last year. Now I do think that Georgia game, like the service he got in Tbilisi, was absolutely shambolic. But he's kind of done himself no harm with these couple of games. And we seem to be kind of playing a bit to his strength because he's a very physical player. He's going to be a nightmare for defenders. And anytime he gets the ball in the box, he's always thereabouts with it.
Yeah, no, he is. And I mean, he scores goals. He's scored quite a few goals for Luton Town. I suppose, yeah, Gerard written him off as well. And partly because the way Stephen wants to play. Now, I know he often does use a target man, but I think he's probably looking for someone with different strengths to James Collins. But he's forced his way in. He's done well when he's got the chance. So he probably deserves his shot tonight. And, well, hopefully there's still time for him to get that goal.
Yeah, good omens, of course, is his only other Ireland goal, his only previous Ireland goal he scored was, of course, against the same opposition last year. And Gary, and that game was also 0-0 at half time. Kevin Long got the first goal. He's on the pitch, so don't give up the faith just yet.
Right. We definitely take, was 3-1, wasn't it? We definitely take that again.
It was 3-1, you know? Yeah. I forget who got our second goal that night.
It was all guys getting their first goal anyway. Who was it?
Jack Byrne, I remember, came off the bench that night anyway. That's his debut.
Yeah.
Which again could happen tonight.
So
to be honest, we'll take just one goal to be brutally honest, and to kick on and get a win. Obviously, we touched on it there. The 21s won. Obviously, Gary, disappointment in the end, I suppose, that they're not in serious contention to make next summer's or next spring's Evens Championships. But a mass improvement from Ireland at that age group. It's been a long time since I can ever remember that we challenged and competed to make an under-21 European Championship. So we definitely have to look at that as a big positive.
Yeah, it is, but it is very disappointing the way the campaign ended, and that defeat to Iceland was, look, a real sickener. It was a fantastic opportunity to reach a first ever under-21 finals, and it would have been superb for that bunch of players. A fantastic chance. So, but yeah, we were definitely our best campaign. Yeah, that I can remember as well. Really. Just going back, actually. Sorry, just one thing I meant to mention at half time was the stats, and we had 54% possession to 46. And probably one of the more worrying things was that Bulgaria had 6 efforts in goal and we only had 2. So probably a sign that we didn't do enough in the first half to cause them any problems. No,
yeah, and the most annoying thing is how many of them 6 chances came from unforced errors from our own behalf as well, which have been very frustrating as well. Just another thing as well, there's not really much of a stat, but it's just nice to point out. I just seen Dash up there on Sky Sports as well. It's just good to see friend of the channel and regular contributor Matt Holland on co-commentary tonight. So keep up the good work, Matt. Yeah. It's always good to see. He's been very good to us on the channel down through the years. Of course, we had the pleasure of interviewing him there during lockdown as well, looking back on his days in the green shirt as well. Just on in terms of 21s, just looking at the age profile of that team as well. I know there's a good chance Troy Power will probably kick on and play for the seniors, but he still is eligible for the next campaign. Jason Knight as well. I know he's playing for senior tonight, like Lee O'Connor and Nathan Collins. And we've been very strong at underage the last couple of years. We've got to the last 2 under-17 championships. We got to under-19s last summer. So there is other good players coming through as well. And there's every faith and confidence that we will be stronger and we'll be thereabouts again in that age group.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, yeah, I think it's 4 of the last 5 under-17 championships we've reached, well, including the one we hosted. And yeah, as you said, we got to the semi-finals of the under-19s last year in Armenia.
I'm missing a lot of players.
Yeah. Joe Hodge actually is someone I really like at Man City. I know he was playing in the FA Youth Cup final, which City actually won this year as well. And he had quite a good game, and even the BT Sport commentators were impressed with him that night. I think it's a first Youth Cup win for City for quite a few years. I know they'd lost a few finals, and it was fantastic for him. In fact, I'm a bit surprised he wasn't involved in the under-21s. I'm sure he'll be. No, he's still only 17. He was playing in the under-17s, but I think he's probably 18 now. Actually, sorry, but yeah, so he still has plenty of time. But probably someone that wouldn't have been far off Jim Crawford's thinking now.
Definitely not as well. And even look at there's Oisin McEntee at Newcastle. What's the young lad's name from Arsenal? Has gone loan to Ipswich. He was centre half as well at that tournament.
Mark
McGuinness, yes, yeah. So yeah, there's definitely good prospects hopefully coming through as well, so that we can be strong. And you have to remember as well, because of our poor results at that age group, we were 4th seeds for this draw. Like, we've done really well to even potentially end up finishing second in that group. So hopefully we will climb up through the seeds and give ourselves a better draw for the European Championship. We're only about 7 or 8 minutes into the second half, Gary, but it's definitely been a more positive start, I find, from Ireland than the first half. We've kept the ball a bit more.
Collins actually, yeah, just wide. Good cross from
That's probably just come up for me. No.
Yeah.
But you touched on there, that's 2 chances already inside the first 7 or 8 minutes of the second half. So I suppose plenty to build on and to get the players encouragement to believe that they're getting closer.
Yeah, no, we've definitely started the better in the second half.
That was a very good chance.
Yeah, and which is a real positive, you know. Just if anyone's interested, Wales are actually beating Finland 2-0 in the other game in our group, so they look set to win our section and go up to League A. And I think that pretty much will guarantee Wales a playoff for the World Cup for 2022 as well. Well, not guarantee. It is down. It's the 2 highest ranked Nations League group winners. But I think we have to assume the League A winners, group winners, will get a playoff. Won't need a playoff. You have to think the likes of Spain, who've already won their group, France, who've already won their group, will all finish in the top 2 of their qualifying groups. Well, Belgium is still playing Denmark, so that group is still up for grabs. But yeah, you have to think there was a good chance there.
You'd have to think as well with Wales. That'll be 13 points or 16 points from a possible 18. No goals conceded, which is a very impressive stat from 6 games. You have to think there's not going to be too many more teams that are going to have a better record than that in League B.
Yeah, actually, yeah, they'll probably be the best League B winners as well, which will pretty much guarantee them a playoff. In fact, there's actually a school of thought that reckons the best League C winner could even sneak into the playoffs, given that, I don't know who's going to win the other League B groups, possibly Turkey, possibly... well, actually, it's going to be Turkey or Hungary now at this point. Scotland are actually in trouble. The Czech Republic could well end up winning the other group. And Austria, of course. Austria are going to be actually, maybe Austria could be the best winners. No, I think Wales will edge out Austria as the best winner anyway.
We just had our best chance of the night, Gary. Golden opportunity for Ronan Curtis. Brilliantly played in by Jason Knight. And the one thing you feared when an Irish player got themselves in a good position, and with all the pressure, you might get someone to Snapchat it, and it ends up being a pretty awful shot in the end. Should have at least hit on target. Yeah,
it was a poor effort. He should have hit the target. It just blazed over, you know. He should have done better.
Good play by Jason Knight to set him through. He was in a good position. Like, he was just outside the box, dead straight in front of the goals. Like, should be at least, you know, he should be trying to get underneath that ball, keep it low, work the keeper, and in the end, he just ends up blasting it into the south stands of the Aviva Stadium.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tyler. He should have done better. And
Darren Randolph gives us a few shaky moments there.
Yeah, my prediction for the game was a 1-0 win with Ronan Curtis to score as well. So he could have. I certainly wish he'd done better there.
Did your good bookmakers tell you odds on that?
No, I didn't check the odds on that one now. So
I'd say that'd be pretty long as well, to be brutally honest.
Yeah. I wonder how long. The reason for the 14-1 odds is that for the results to happen, it involves us scoring. So. I don't know. Well, still, we just need a Northern Ireland winner in Belfast and a goal here, and we would do it. And while I was talking about the other groups, I see Hungary have gone 1-0 up in Turkey, and that would be some phenomenal. That would mean Hungary would actually win their section. I mean, they're in with Serbia, Russia, and Turkey, and that's a phenomenal achievement for them, having just come up from League C, and they've also, of course, qualified for the Euros.
That's right, in dramatic fashion.
Yeah. So certainly a famous old footballing nation. I mean, a country that they got to a couple of World Cup finals back in the day. They famously beat England 6-3 at Wembley and 7-1 in Budapest a year later. And they were regulars in major tournaments, even into the 80s. I mean, I certainly remember them in 82 and 86 in the World Cups, watching them on TV. And I think they qualified for Euro 2016, but I think that was their first tournament for a long, long, long time. And of course, they've qualified now for Euro 2020, and they look like they could be heading up to League A. Yeah,
they were very competitive, actually. I think in the end, was it Germany or Belgium, one of them two, get them a bad beating in the round of 16. But they were very strong in their group. They comfortably about Austria in the first game, when everyone was talking about Austria as a dark horse for Euro 2016, and obviously drew with Iceland and Portugal and got through as a second place team. And as I mentioned, of course, en route to get to the European Championships next summer, they have to take care of Bulgaria as well in the semi-final, and they've done that very easily, beating them 3-1. So it has been a massive rise from them over the course of the last couple of years.
Yeah, and well, if they can keep that lead, they certainly that'll be enough to send them up to League A.
Yeah, just in terms of Northern Ireland, obviously, as much as we want them to win, because it'll do a favour for us if we can win. I know they're trying to avoid battling relegation, but would a win do much for them in terms of seeding, or are they definitely cemented as third seeds?
No, they're definitely cemented as third seeds, and actually they were relegated this afternoon because UEFA awarded Norway didn't travel to Romania at the weekend, and UEFA awarded Romania a 3-0 win. So that actually relegated Northern Ireland, so they're gone down to League C. And we're obviously hoping not to join them there. And part of the issue, and I don't know the answer to this because I don't think it was clarified, is whether Romania actually get the ranking points as well from FIFA as well. And there is a precedent, if back in 2018 when a team was awarded, I can't remember, one of the Asian teams, that when they were awarded a win like that, FIFA did give them the ranking points. And the significance of that is if Romania do get the ranking points, they only need a draw to get the second seeds. But if they don't get the ranking points, they need to win to jump ahead of Russia and to stay ahead of us.
So there could be a bit of a waiting game then for the draw
So, but I think we need Northern Ireland to win, and we obviously need to win ourselves. If we don't win, we're definitely in pot 3.
Just going to say, we're just approaching the hour mark now. Bulgaria just have a free kick just inside their own half. I was just saying, it's getting to that stage. We're looking at a couple of substitutions, and the Bulgarian manager must have read my mind because he think he's making a triple substitution. For ourselves, Gary, it doesn't look like we're going to make any changes just yet, but it does start to get to that stage. We're thinking, right.
There's a goal for Northern Ireland. They've gone well up in Belfast.
Oh.
And it's Liam Boyce, the former Cliftonville man. Nice one. And now we are 1 goal away from pot 2 if things stay the same. Serbia are still 4-0 up in Belgrade against Russia, so I think we can take that result as going our way. And Northern Ireland 1-0 up in Romania, so we just need to score and win, and we could be in pot 2.
Somehow, after one of the most desperate campaigns we've had in living memory, but that's fantastic news. Great to hear, and like I said, now it's just up to us to keep up our own burden. off the work, and suddenly 14-1 doesn't seem a bad shot, Gary. Now,
no, it doesn't now, So
it'd be interesting to see what the in-play odds and that would actually be now with them two results happening. I'm sure they're at least halved. Just as I mentioned there, Bulgaria, they've decided to make a triple substitution. And to get to that stage, you think yourself that you're looking for players to shake this game up, bit of fresh legs, fresh ideas. Who would you be looking towards, Gary, to fill in them roles for you?
So, well, I think the obvious one, we talked about him already. I'd like to see Jack Byrne get a run. I think I'd like to see him get on the ball. He creates chances. He runs at players. He picks out a pass, and yeah, he's the player I'd like to see come off the bench, and we'll see what he can do. I mean, Josh Cullen is another one, but Josh is more of a defensively minded player. So if we're chasing the game or looking for the win, I think it's Jack Byrne for me.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Shawnee Maguire get another chance as well.
Yeah, he was the other player I was probably thinking of really as well when you're looking at forward options. They probably are the two standout players. Well, I think it could be a scenario and situation to see other League of Ireland players like Aaron McAniff and Graham Burke to get on, who of course will be looking to add to his 2 caps. He already has 1.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, possibly, but I don't know. Stephen probably hasn't seen enough of them. I mean, to whether maybe he will, but yeah, I think they're probably less likely. I think the likes of Jack Byrne and probably Shawnee Maguire are two that we are probably more likely to see.
Yeah, I suppose at this stage of the game, you look for a bit of experience, a bit of composure. There are 2 players that can probably bring that at this stage of the game. But like I said, look, 2 of the 3 results are going away. But unfortunately, at the moment, just our own fortunate result isn't going away. But there's still plenty of time for Ireland to get a goal. 63 minutes gone on the clock. It's still 0-0. So plenty of time as well for you still to get your comments in. We've obviously had some great discussions throughout the course tonight about various players for the future, League of Ireland talking points and stuff like that. Players you want to see come on. So it'd be great if you could still get a few more comments in, as Ronan Sheedy has just done already, and he's thinking the same lines of himself, Gary. Get Jack Byrne on the pitch.
Yeah, no, I think if we're going to create stuff, if we're going to open them up, I think Jack is the obvious one to me anyway. Because I think we're just I was hoping to see more from Robbie Brady. Actually, I think we're just missing that little bit of a spark, a bit of creativity. And I'd still have Robbie on there for his set piece delivery as well, though, because I don't think we've anybody of his quality on set pieces. And maybe that's our route to goal, the old traditional.
Yeah. Of course, it's what we normally seem to do in competitive catches. I think 5 of our last 6 goals in competitive football have come from headers, and the only other exception was an own goal against Gibraltar. So form wouldn't suggest we're going to carve this Bulgarian defence open. For me, that's an interesting thing of just on about set pieces. We haven't seemed to get many tonight in dangerous areas. We haven't won that many corners. Most of the free kicks we got have seemed to kind of come in around the halfway line or in even our own half.
Yeah, no, we haven't. I mean, we've only got even a couple of. How many corners have we got even now? I can't even think of too many.
I think we've only got the 1 in the first half. I'll check here actually.
Yeah, if you've got the stats.
I have flash score up on me now, so we look like we're about to make a change, and it looks like Josh Cullen, I think, seems to be coming on.
So, a corner here to Bulgaria now, and
yeah, we've only had the 1 corner kick.
That's a great chance. Oh, we're very lucky there. Ball fell to Bulgarian guy 5 yards out, and he had time, and he put it wide. Well, it was blocked actually. Who got the block on that? It was a great deflected, great block. I think we rode our luck there. That was
Sorry, just looking at the scores there. So that was it from a corner? Was it, Gary?
Yeah, so from a corner there.
Yeah, I think it's just coming up for me now. So I'll see how accurate your description was of this chance for Bulgaria.
So James is asking.
Oh yeah, your man he completely scuffed that. He really should have done a lot better.
So James is asking, who do we hope to get in the World Cup? Yeah, so it is
a combination of sunny destinations and easy opposition would be great for, provided of course we're allowed to go back to matches.
So Spain is top seeds then, Jerry. Yeah,
Spain, Spain.
So
I'd have to examine the pots a lot more, but wouldn't mind maybe Malta there as well as one of the lower seeds.
Yeah.
I know Hungary are in good form, but you can't beat a good trip to Budapest. It's just looking as well. Czech Republic look like they're going to be third seeds. So if we do manage to sneak into second seeds, they would be a country I wouldn't mind avoiding, to be honest. Just we've made our first substitution of the night, Gary. Josh Cullen is on for Darrell Horgan. So not only just a change in personnel, but I'm sure this is now going to see a change in tactics and formation.
Yeah, I mean, that's more of a defensive move. I mean,
yeah.
Well, I suppose it is important that we don't lose this game because, I mean, a draw is enough to avoid relegation, which is absolutely crucial. Oh, what an effort. Robbie Brady's just hit the bar. Oh. Didn't even move.
I hope that's not the closest we come. I hope it's only a sign of things to come.
That was definitely the closest we come. I hope they'll actually show it again because he cut in from the right-hand side and a beautiful left foot shot and the keeper was beaten and it just crashed off the bar.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for it to see it here myself. Just to let you know another game as well. Pukki has pulled a goal back for Finland, so they now trail 2-1 against Wales. Wales' first goal they've conceded. It is worth noting as well, Finland's been playing that game since the 12th minute with a man light. They got a man sent off, so they're doing probably well to even got themselves back in contention into that game.
So.
Oh, it was a great effort from Brady again. Good to see Darrell O'Shea heavily involved in the build-up on the right-hand side. Brady, done really well, created good space for himself, was in a good position. Well known for scoring a couple of good long-range goals in the past. Really unlucky, Gary. He couldn't have done much more. Like another day that probably could sneak in on that.
Just needed to be a couple of inches lower, and would have been
tough for a second there. We might get a free kick for a challenge in Jason Knight, but we're just going to get a throw in from it.
Yeah, but it's good we're actually creating the chances anyway and getting closer.
Yeah.
So
I know you were saying that like Stephen Kenny might be thinking with Josh Cullen that we don't need a draw, but like I think from his own point of view and just to eliminate negativity, because it doesn't matter if we draw this game and we avoid relegation. All everyone's going to want to talk about in the morning is 7 games without a goal.
Yeah, but I think I agree. It's probably a bit of a there's still time left to win it. There's also obviously time left to lose
plenty
it.
of time, yeah.
But I mean, a defeat I think would be an absolute disaster. I mean, getting relegated down to League C, we could end up, if we ended up down in League C, we could have a group like Luxembourg, Lithuania, and Gibraltar. That's actually a possible group for any of us that get relegated out of League B. And it'd be a financial disaster for the FAI. If you're thinking in the middle of 2022 to have those teams coming to the Aviva, it'd be very, very difficult to sell tickets. And it's very unattractive for sponsors. So I think it's absolutely, probably the most important thing tonight is to stay in League B. So yeah, so I think a defeat would be really, really disappointing. So yeah, a scoreless draw would mean we'd stay up, and it would, as you say, Gerard, lead to quite a bit of negativity. The story would be another game without a goal, etc. But and it would probably carry some of it into the new year, and obviously would definitely mean third seedings for the World Cup. But it wouldn't be a total disaster, because I think to lose this game would just be absolutely disastrous at this stage.
Yeah, as you touched on, like going down to League C, and as you mentioned, playing small opposition, as you mentioned, for sponsors, attraction to get players going. Even just like as you mentioned, we end up with that group with Luxembourg, Gibraltar, and whoever. Like are the players even going to learn from playing against opposition at that caliber, like that you'd expect to go out and cause another decent chance here? We'll float across in from James Collins. One Curse is trying to keep alive, and then Robbie Brady was a.
So the other problem, actually, if we're down to League C, is that despite our showing last time in the Nations League, we still end up with a playoff. If we go down to League C, we'd be outside the top 32 nations in Europe, So the only way we get a playoff for Euro 2024 would be to win our League C group, almost certainly. We'd need to
Which
win.
would be something we should be aiming to do anyway, like Scotland did.
Well, it is something we'd be aiming to do, but I mean, you could have some other teams down there like North Macedonia, our old friends from Georgia. You could get teams like that. And you could well come a cropper. One of Greece or Slovenia are actually going to stay in. I must see actually how that game is going, because they're playing off tonight for, it's still 0-0 actually. So I think Greece have to win that game. They're playing off for promotion. Greece have to win, Slovenia need a draw. So you'd have one of them in potentially in your group as well. So you'd be by no means guaranteed to win your section, and you could be effectively out of Euro 2024 unless you can finish in the top two.
Yeah.
And of course, your Nations League finish decides your seeding for the 2024 draw. And if we're in League C, the best we can be is a 4th seed, because the top 10 seeds will come from League A, the next 6 from League A, and the best 4 of League B. That's the top. The 3rd seeds will all be from League B, and 2 of League B will be 4th seeds, along with 8 of League C. So the best we could hope for is 4th seeds. And
so I think it pretty much sums up in a nutshell there why we need to at least not lose this game anyway. But when you consider that the last time we did the Nations League campaign, we also finished bottom of that group, and only for the fact they decided to restructure it and put 4 teams in each group as opposed to 3, we actually would be in League C at the moment. So when you look at that kind of form, is it no surprise that we find ourselves once again towards the bottom of a group in League B?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, our Nations League form has been absolutely horrendous. I mean,
still haven't won a Nations League match.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people are saying San Marino are worse than us. Yeah, which is true. But I don't know many other countries. I don't think Northern Ireland have actually won a Nations League game either.
They haven't, no.
Yeah, so I don't know how many
but
more
if
there
they hang
are.
on tonight, they will.
Tonight would be their first win. Yeah, I don't know how many more countries there are that haven't. San Marino obviously haven't. I don't know if Andorra have. Trying to
Iceland?
think. Yeah, Iceland actually haven't, but Iceland, in fairness, have been in League A the whole time. Yeah.
So it doesn't really make for pretty reading.
But there's still time to win this one. There's
15 minutes left.
16, 17 even. Yeah, and plus added time, you know.
Yeah, we could still do it, getting a couple of fresh legs on the pitch as well, I think, to be honest.
So, yeah, only 1 substitution is probably a surprise, you know.
I kind of find that a lot with Stephen Kenny. He's very, very late to make a lot of substitutions. Even it was the same way. Maybe Sunday wasn't as bad, but definitely think back to the last home game against Wales. It was getting around this time, this territory, before we've seen double substitutions brought in, like Shawnee Maguire, Darrell Horgan. Josh Cullen wasn't brought in injury time. I know we didn't have as many options on the bench, but I do kind of find sometimes he can be quite late to bring on substitutions and change games, because we've never been in winning positions heading into the final stretch of a match, and more often than not, we're actually losing matches.
Yeah, and no, I suppose you would say the squad's been pretty decimated, so maybe he doesn't have a lot of options on the bench. But yeah, I would have thought so. And I just see it's gone 5-0 now in Belgrade to Serbia. So Russia are not coming back in that match. Actually, Russia at the moment are hanging on to second seeds, because Northern Ireland are beating Romania, and we're not obviously beating Bulgaria. So a goal for us or a goal for Romania would actually deny Russia second seeds. So there would be some consolation for them that they'd keep second seeds despite losing 5-0. And of course, that result is actually, as things stand, going to relegate Turkey. Pretty sure I'm right on that group, that Turkey go down if Serbia win, and Turkey lose to Hungary. So Turkey need to equalise to stay up, and they need to win. Win group. Yeah.
From the sounds of some of them results, it sounds like already that in 2 years' time that League C is probably going to be even stronger than it is now.
Well, yeah, I mean, Northern Ireland are going down to League C. Either ourselves or Bulgaria are going down. It looks like Turkey or Serbia, they'll probably be the strongest team to go down. And Well, Slovakia are heading down as well. They're almost certain now. They're losing 2-0 to the Czech Republic, and they need to win that game to stay up. And Israel are actually beating Scotland, so that actually would mean Czech Republic will win that section, and Israel will stay up. But I see Amber Leaf is calling for get Parrot on now. Yeah, it's probably worth a shout. I don't know
so we didn't even think of, to be honest, actually, yeah.
Yeah, Robbie Brady is injured at the moment, and that's...
He is. He's just gone down there. We just kicked the ball out of play.
Certainly not someone we'd like to see go off.
He's someone that's always kind of constantly struggled with injury problems over the last couple of years, so you just hope it's not another setback for him, because it's definitely affecting his club form at Burnley in terms of getting into that team.
So, yeah, and I see Belgium have gone 3-1 up in Denmark, so they're going to win that section. And Italy are winning 2-0 in Bosnia. They're going to win their section. So that'll be Italy, Belgium, France, and Spain as the 4 Nation League semi-finalists. That'll be some tournament next year.
Looks like Jack Byrne is going to come on.
Yeah. I'm going to get my wish.
Would that tournament be on as a warm-up to the Euros, or when are they planning to stage that?
No, I think it's actually next October, if I think rightly. So the 4 winners, so the 4 I've just mentioned, Belgium, Italy, Spain and France, will be in the 5
groups.
World Cup groups, and they'll have no World Cup qualifiers next October, and they'll play Nations League semi-finals and a final. So I think it's next October. It's definitely during.
So at least we know if we end up in then. Yeah. So we know if we end up in then groups that we'll definitely be planning games in October of next year anyway.
Yeah, so the other teams in that group will be playing in October. What I mean, if we end up in a 16 group, we'll have no time for friendlies. We'll have 3 games in March, 3 in September, 2 in October, and 2 in November. If we're in a 5-team group, we will have the games in October definitely, because the top seeds won't be playing. But we'll have friendlies slotted in probably in March and September.
So Jack Byrne is on for the last 11 or 12 minutes. He comes on for Robbie Brady for his second cap. A decent cameo when he came on Sunday, so hopefully he can add to that. Just quickly, might just finish up on that point, and we'll try and maybe stick to the match. So there's going to be no World Cup qualifiers in the lead up to the Euros next summer. I thought they were going to try and maybe squeeze them in as well.
No, it's only warm-up games for the Euros, and we're going to have friendlies. And ball fizzed across there. That was a great chance for Jason Knight. James Collins couldn't get on the end of it. So, and I think there's hopes. I mean, also next year is the centenary of the FAI. I mean, it's 100 years since the Leinster FA broke away from the IFA and informed what became the Football Association of the Irish Free State and ultimately the FAI. So hopefully we'll have a glamour. One of the things I said last Thursday night, I really hope we arranged a reverse match against, or a return match against England when fans will be allowed in. Maybe that was part of the deal. I don't actually know. But a lot of these friendlies do end up being home and away situations. So maybe there's a hope we could have England coming to the Aviva next year if the schedule allows it.
Because fingers crossed for some big name. Sorry, Gary.
Maybe Argentina or Brazil or somebody like that. Hopefully there'll be a big name coming when crowds are allowed in the Aviva.
Well, we got Argentina in for the first game at the new Aviva, so that was obviously a great coup to get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Brazil have twice been in Dublin in recent history, 2004 and 2008. So maybe they're due another good long overdue visit.
We played them in 2008 was in. Oh no, that was in Croke Park. We played them in the Emirates as well.
Don Givens was manager.
Yeah, we played them in the Emirates as well in.
Well, that's right, in 2010.
2010, yeah. And of course, famously, we beat them on a great day in Lansdowne Road when Liam Brady scored in 1987.
That's right.
And actually, I was there that day, but one of the really disappointing things about that day was the crowd. I think it was only something like 17,000. And it probably seems a bit strange to say now, but Brazil, they probably weren't that big an attraction at the time. I suppose Argentina were world champions and Brazil were probably in a state of flux. They had a few retirements, and well, it was fantastic. It's the only time we've ever beaten them, and I don't know if we'll ever beat them again. But
don't ever rule out, Gary.
We may not even get to play them too often, Gerard.
No.
Sorry, I'm losing my my earphone here.
All right. Hopefully we'll be losing them in the next 10 minutes with the sheer delight of a goal going in. I think we all want that to happen.
It's still 1-0.
But as you said, look, as you said earlier, look, if we don't win, there's still a positive taken from this. Is in at least we avoided relegation to League B. As you said, like going down to League C, as you said, you can nearly not kiss goodbye, but you make it very, very difficult to give you any chance of getting to Germany in 2024.
Yeah, it would make it much harder.
Obviously, it can be shown, it can be done. Scotland, that's the route. That's how they got there. They won their group. I know they had a shambolic qualifying campaign with obviously being the same group as Belgium and Russia. Didn't help themselves losing to Kazakhstan, but they always had that safety net to fall back on, and it's paid off for them. And it seems as if they're on. I know they're losing to Israel at the moment now, and they lost the other day to Slovakia, but they're on an upward. There's no doubt about it, they're on an upward curve.
Yeah, sorry, judges. Romania have equalised in Belfast, so as things stand, even if we get a winner, we need Northern Ireland to get a winner as well. Yeah, but you're right about Scotland. They're going to miss out, it looks like now, on getting up to League A, but they have qualified for a first tournament this millennium, and fantastic scenes. Sorry, we've someone gone down there. I missed who it was.
Looks like Ryan Manning.
Okay.
And he looked like someone who was struggling with cramp and doing a few stretches there after his cross went into the side. How would you assess his international debut? It's definitely him. He's gone back down again. He's struggling badly with cramp, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know. He does. I don't. I mean, he did okay. He certainly hasn't stood out. I don't know. What do you think yourself, Gerard? They see Seanie Maguire coming on. Yeah,
I've been the same opinion as yourself. I think defensively, duties-wise, he's not been too bad. Like that, they never really causes much problems down that side. But like I said, he's lucky boy to still be on the pitch after 20-odd minutes, and he hasn't really kind of got forward much from an attacking option. But it does look as if his night is over, and it looks as if Troy Parra is going to be coming on, and he's going to join Josh Cullen and Jack Byrne in the category of coming on for his second international cap. And Seanie Maguire looks like as if he's going to make this a double substitution.
It's a double substitution. Yeah. It's going to be Seanie Maguire and Troy Parrott. So yeah, I think Stephen's definitely going for the win at that stage, throwing on two strikers,
which is good to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It looks like it's still 0-0 in Greece. It's just one I'm keeping an eye on, because Greece or Slovenia is going to come up to League B. Yeah, so Ronan Curtis is coming off, and I see we're going to see.
Is Cyrus Christie possibly going to come into the action?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is Cyrus Christie. I just see James Collins and Ronan Curtis are coming off, and for Troy Parrott, and I'm not sure who Cyrus. Oh, Cyrus Christie's probably coming on for Ryan Manning, obviously.
Ryan Manning's filling in that left back slot, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've 5 minutes to try and end. Well, it's been a disappointing year. To be honest, it's been a long time since we've had a good year in Irish football. But 5 minutes to try and find a goal and at least end with a win. It looks as if, as things stand at the moment, we're still going to stay up in League B. We're not going to get second seeds, but we just want to win a game and have something to cheer about heading into the new year.
Yeah, because even if Romania hang on for the point, it would still be nice to get the win from, even if it doesn't get a second seed. It would just give us such a positive boost, you know.
Yeah.
And well, we've players on, Troy Parrott and Seanie Maguire, capable of scoring a goal, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and, Cyrus Christie's even scored for us in the past, albeit against Gibraltar, so you never know, there could be another goal in him.
I know he took a little bit of flack, but he's actually a very good player for us going forward, and he does create chances. So he may well create something. I know he's critics for his defensive performances, but one thing I like about Cyrus is he never gives less than 100%. He always gives everything, and he always turns up. And hopefully, he can be the man to set up something.
Yeah. You mentioned he has a reputation of being dangerous for us going forward. So hopefully, he has a couple of good attacks in him and a couple of good deliveries from his. Certainly getting a good feel for the ball with his hand, and he's taking his second throw in since he came in anyway. As Bulgaria, for a team that obviously need to win to avoid relegation, you can't say that they've actually thrown themselves out and thrown the kitchen sink and searched for a goal themselves.
No, not so much in the second half. They've been, I think they had more of a go at us in the first half, but maybe we haven't allowed them to play either. But yeah, they haven't really threatened us too much in the second half. You see, we got a corner here. Jack Byrne took us a bit of a disappointment, actually. He didn't clear the first man, has gone out for a goal kick.
That's disappointing to hear. Wales have actually gone 3-1 up as well against Finland, so it looks like their rise is going to continue up to League A now as well. Obviously, they face a little bit of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen in the situation Ryan Giggs, but they've certainly shown during this international break they're not letting off the field matters affect them. That's two very impressive victories for them in the Nations League, and they'll fancy their chances having the right good cut off of that European Championship next summer. They're in the same group, if I'm correct in saying, with Italy, Switzerland and Turkey.
That's right, yeah. They're meant to be going to Baku. I don't know if, given the situation in Azerbaijan, if Baku is still going to be hosting games. But yeah, and they're also second seeds in the World Cup draw. So I don't know, what you think. Would they be they mightn't be the worst second seeds to get, but they're probably further ahead of us at this stage. They are further ahead at their stage of development than we are, is probably the best way to put it. But
they wouldn't be the worst second seeds in terms of familiarity, that we know them so well. And in general, I know that they have, apart from McLean's goal up there, they now do have the upper hand on us in terms of fixtures, but there's never a lot between the two of us. And obviously, I suppose, for travel reasons as well, sure, Cardiff is only a quick trip across the pond as well, so that'll make it a bit easier.
Yeah, and
it wouldn't take my category now of a nice sun trip, though. I would say that.
No. I mean, I wouldn't have Cardiff as I think two teams from a destination. I don't want to play Denmark and Wales again, although they may not be too bad in Denmark as top seeds and Wales as second seeds. We could do a lot worse. I mean, I'd love to go to Ukraine, but I think to be a disastrous get them as second seeds, because they have a very, very strong team and a coming very good young team. So I think we'd find it very difficult against them. So it's kind of the balance between nice trips and winnable games as well. So I think we'd have a chance against Wales.
Yeah, Ukraine definitely. Shevchenko's building a great job there. It's a country I can't say I've ever really thought too much about going to, but I suppose you're looking at a lot of these Eastern European countries and you're thinking they are a bit cheaper on the wallet, like, so it wouldn't be somewhere I wouldn't mind going. You didn't stay out any longer in 2012 and take in a couple of games in Ukraine over there, did you?
Yeah, I actually went. The only time I've ever been there is actually because we've never played there. Well, the men's senior team haven't played there. I actually went there for the final. Went for the weekend. I came home after the quarterfinals, but I went back for the Poland semi-final, and which was Germany-Italy, and then went to Kiev for the final. So it's actually quite a lovely city. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more of it.
All right.
And yeah, so well, I don't want to draw them from a football point of view because they're a really, really strong side, but I think it'd be quite a pleasant trip. And of course, it mightn't be in Kiev either. We could be playing them elsewhere. And I know quite a few League of Ireland teams have gone there. I know Sligo Rovers went there. I'm trying to think who else. St. Pat's, I'm pretty sure. Drogheda played Dynamo. That's what I was thinking. Drogheda played Dynamo Kiev and came very, very close to knocking them out.
Yeah, I should have won that game in the end.
Yeah. But we're into the 5 minutes of added time now. Yeah.
Got a corner. 5 minutes of injury time. So even the fourth official is trying to do all he can for us. probably the best delivery from open play in terms of Ireland tonight. That cross from Hourhan right into the 6-yard box, exactly where you want it for your striker to run onto.
Yeah, well, I suppose Robbie Brady's one that hit the bar is probably the closest we've come.
Yeah.
But yeah,
James Collins hit the side net in the start of the second half as well.
Yeah, we've had, I suppose, what would you call them, half chances? We haven't.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just been the story of our campaign, really, hasn't it?
Just, can we create one more chance just to get?
That's all we need. One good chance. Cyrus Christie coming forward now.
It would certainly lift the mood, you know.
Big time. Would it even be too early to say the phrase "Christmas will came early"?
Yeah. I think Troy Parrott was just offside there. That's a pity. Still no change in Belfast.
What's the big thing is, will we see a change in the scoreline here in Dublin? Time is starting to become more and more against us, Gary.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been. I suppose it hasn't been a great game, Gerard, and we haven't. I don't know if we've done enough.
No.
If anyone deserved to win it, we probably deserve to win it. But I don't think we've done enough to win it. I don't think at home against a team like Bulgaria we've done enough to. I certainly wouldn't be saying we're unlucky or blaming the referee or anything like that. But it's unless we can get something in these last couple of minutes of added time.
Yeah, it's not been the most inspiring of performances. It's been okay. I don't think either team has really done enough to win. I wouldn't say both teams have played out for a draw, but you can't say either team has really kind of had a sustained pressure of dominance or had a golden patch or a purple patch during this game. They've kind of both pretty much cancelled each other out. You have to say that there seem to be two teams of very equal standard. The results throughout the Nations League would back that up. There are two results against each other. There's not a split between them, and tonight's just a prime example really of that.
Yeah. Shane Duffy doing very well here coming out of defence, but lays it off to Cyrus Christie, but it's gone out for a throw in. Now we're in the last of the 5 minutes of added time, and it certainly looks like it's going to finish 0-0. It's probably looked like it's going to finish 0-0 for a long time, actually, you know.
Yeah. Unless we can get one last hurrah to get forward, that's really about it at this stage.
Yeah. I suppose the positives are we've avoided relegation, but
yeah, I suppose you always have to look at the glass half full, and that's one thing we're definitely pointing towards in that direction.
Well, that's it, Ger. That's the final whistle, and we've stayed up, but
we won't be going around chanting "We are staying up, we are staying up" by any stretch of the imaginations. But look, it is something to take because it's been all negativity with Ireland games. Let's be honest, it was still another disappointing performance. But look, as you said, like going forward in terms of seeding, in terms of rankings, in terms of increasing our chances of getting to major tournaments, we've made it a little bit more easier for ourselves from that result. So let's try and at least be happy about that.
We can look forward to the World Cup draw. We are third seeds. We're definitely now we're in pot 3, and we'll see who we get.
Northern Ireland and Romania has finished 1-1 as well. So
Okay, so we're going to have a lot of more content tonight. Paul is at the game, so we'll get his instant match reaction, his player ratings. I'll have 3 talking points in my instant match reaction coming up soon as well. So that's it, folks. And so don't forget to check us out later on, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So thanks, Ger. And
no worries, Gary.
Talk to you soon.
Everyone else, take care out there.